Welcome to Fading Suns Thursdays on the Ulysses International channel. I am JM, your GM, and we are back to the crew of the Oh Boy. At least most of them. We've got to get through this arc, Maddie, before you can go back to being Battle Sister Gemma.
Soon and very soon.
For the Battle Buns. So it has been months since we have played this game. So I am going to do a brief recap of the first two episodes of Comes the Inquisitor. We will introduce everybody again and your characters for anyone who is joining. If you are just joining now for the first time, maybe you have found the Ulysses International channel sometime between March and now. And you're like, who are these people? What is this game that they're playing? We are going to do our best to catch you up, but I will be honest, there is no better way to catch up than go back and watch all of the episodes of the Oh Boy. What are you pointing down to?
We're just saying go back and watch them.
Oh, okay.
Or if you're on YouTube, they're like.
Oh, that's right. If you're on YouTube, I think they're going to be like over here. Rotate. So, Fading Suns is a science fantasy role-playing game that has been kickstarted. It will be being delivered to backers here soon. It is set in the far future where the stars of the sky are actually starting to go out. It is a world that has a lot of familiar touchstones because it is very much a medieval science fantasy game. There's noble houses. The church is a major part of the setting, with different orders within the church. The noble houses war and spy against each other. They're all nominally part of the Imperium, but have ancient hatreds and ancient feuds. The merchants sail through the stars connecting the planets. There are guilds, so if you are familiar with sort of the fantasy tropes, you're going to see them here in the far, far future. However, there are all of the things that you love about science fiction in there. There are ships, there are jump gates, there are lasers, there are genetically modified octopus dog creatures. There are cybernetics and think machines and personal shields and body armor and just everything you could. Grenades, my personal favorite. So, this campaign follows the crew of the Oh Boy, a group of unlikely shipmates that were thrown together following the events of something that happened before our stream started, but if you are a longtime viewer, you have heard us speak of Milan Station quite a bit. They are led by the intrepid Calypso Mars, played by Lee. Her first mate and I guess technically fiance, right, Captain Gregor. And not pictured tonight is Battle Sister Gemma, and the three of them form Jexa's weird parental units. Engineer Jexa, played by Becca. The young person, young engineer, heir to one of the guild seats, as well as in possession of what some may consider heretical tech, but definitely got through all of the proper channels, a think machine, a cybernetic arm, and, a demon in her head.
That's totally normal.
Totally normal. And then Sister Alestra, the sister of the Sanctuary Aeon, the healing order of the church, but also a spy for her family's house. So I will let you all do your introductions here in a bit and kind of refresh everyone on your characters, but they have been joined. They are on Byzantium Secundus, the capital of the Imperium, and they discovered a nefarious plan by someone named Marcon. He was funding a doctor named Dr. Feynman, or Finman, depending on who is talking about him, who was attempting to definitely engage in heretical practices and create a new divergent branch of humanity in creating an aquatic race, whether you wanted to join this new species or not. Those who survived were released into the oceans of Byzantium Secundus, and those who did not, well, you guys found several of the remains. They were very gelatinous, to say the least. The group turned Dr. Feynman over to a Inquisitor that they knew on Columbus Station, a station that exists at the very edge of the Byzantium Secundus solar system, right by the jump gate. And they were put in touch with that Inquisitor's mentor, Inquisitor Flint, and his retinue, which includes Xi the Ronin and Thessalia the Ur-Orban Psyker. So I would like to start with let's do a brief introduction of your characters, just to remind everyone who you are and kind of what your I don't know, how do you see kind of everything that's come up to here? What do you guys kind of see as like the thing about your character? Let's start with Captain Calypso. So Lee, would you introduce your character and just give us a highlight of what people who are new to the show should know about Captain Calypso?
Captain Calypso. So I'm Lee. I play Captain Calypso. Calypso Mars. It's Marz. She confiscated the Oh Boy and made it her own, which is this ship. And the one thing that everybody new to the channel should know about her is that if anybody is going to kill Gregor, she is going to kill Gregor, and currently that's her fiance.
That's terrifying to note, but it has been noted. Marty, why don't you introduce yourself and who you are playing?
I'm Marty. I am playing Xi. He's a Ronin. I essentially see myself as the muscle. I hit the things that Inquisitor Flint tells me to hit, and I hit them very hard.
Thessalia. Maddie, why don't you introduce your character? Now, you were only here for one of the two previous episodes of Comes the Inquisitor, so...
So she's Ur-Orban, so think space elf. Long life, penetrating gaze. Doesn't talk a lot, but when she does, probably will make your skin crawl. Has taken a vested interest in Jexa. And yeah, she's here to help out in whatever way she can. Or so you think.
Jexa, you're in the middle of our screen. Why don't you go ahead and give me your introduction?
My name is Becca, and I am playing Jexa, the young, impressionable human engineer. Yes, my left arm is cybernetic. I have a think machine in my brain. I'm really good with the machines, and maybe I don't just talk to my think machine in my brain. Maybe there's something in the darkness in my brain. Jexa really likes her crew and is really weirded out by these new people.
That is fair.
Yeah, yes. As JM said earlier, she kind of has a parental unit with Gregor, Gemma, and Calypso, and Alestra's kind of like the fun aunt that she can get away with doing stuff with before the moms come down and, reprimand her.
All right, Alestra, let's go with you next.
Well, hi, I'm Abby. I'm playing Alestra, the sister from the Temple Aeon, which is a healer, but really, I'm a spy. I'm just really terrible at it. I love my crew. I'm becoming more and more loyal to them and probably the most honest with them than anybody I've ever been, other than my brother. And these new people are rather intimidating, especially the Inquisitor, because of course we have nothing to hide.
All right, and Inquisitor Flint. Mark, go ahead and give us an introduction.
Hello, darlings. I'm Mark. I'm playing Inquisitor Flint, who is an Inquisitor, so I look for heresy, but I'm not the typical Inquisitor. Thankfully, because if you watch the past episodes, you can see how the crew of the Old Boy deals with Inquisitors who are overzealous. I'll leave it at that. And I was enjoying a well-earned rest on Byzantium Secundus, sitting on the beach, drinking tasty drinks, when Inquisitor Alphonsus said, hey, there's a problem that you might want to look into. And then I met the crew, and we started to investigate what was going on with what Feynman was doing. And we were in the middle of that when a pandemic intervened, and we probably forgot a lot of what happened. But that's basically where we're at.
Well, you guys, if you remember, having met up with Inquisitor Flint, you dropped down to the Feynman's lair, where you encountered a group of thugs who were working for this guy named Marcon. And man, so many notes. You rescued the Sir Henry Ashton of House Hawkwood. Calypso met Henri, the think machine that ran Henry Ashton's motor car, or his rail car, essentially. His mobile black shag carpet, red leather subway, personalized subway car. One of the guys' eyes exploded during the fight. Something dark and cold passed into Jexa. You did an autopsy, where you found out that this guy's scars were self-inflicted on his arms. You're not certain what caused his eyes to explode, but Alestra was able to rule out any sort of explosive device. It wasn't a cranial bomb, and you guys have a lot of experience with cranial bombs. Going back and looking at all of that, it's you guys have a lot of experience with cranial bombs. Let's see here. When we left off, you had requested that Sir Henry Ashton get you all access to Marcon's party, and he is not certain that he can do that, but he said give him 48 hours. So when we left, Calypso stated that she wanted to review the tapes that Henri had given her that were recordings of Henry's journeys on his train car. G was going to hit the streets and try and investigate on who Marcon is, what's going on. Jexa was going to attempt to have some downtime with Officer Lorenzo, the Knight of House Hawkwood, who has taken an interest.
Emma, you're not there. You can't stop me.
Alestra was going to go talk with her family to try and figure out if they knew anything. And I don't know what Flint and I think Flint said he was going to talk with Alestra, but Alestra said she was leaving before he could. And so Flint and Thessalia, what would you want to do with these 2 days of downtime as you wait for Sir Henry to get back to you? And you can think about it if you want. I'll start with the other.
I'll just put out a general query to. I'm sure there's some sort of a database the Inquisitors have, just to see about Marcon of Al Malik. and what is known about him.
So it's not so much a database, because if all of the Inquisition's ability to have records were readily available, then there would be really no need for the Inquisition. The Inquisition is very insular. There are very
I'll put some calls out there then to some associates to see what they know.
okay.
Maybe some spy masters that I have association with.
All right. Well, and then Thessalia, what are you going to be doing?
I feel like she would just roam the agora and see if she picks up any whispers, spoken or otherwise, about Marcon. But it's not specific. It's just kind of roaming, listening. So
Roaming some
generally
more,
creepy.
then a little bit more listening.
A little bit of
Maybe a little listening and then roaming to kind of...
Right.
Okay.
Gotta mix it up a little bit.
Just a little bit. All right. Well, we are going to start with, unfortunately, for JM, who has been living in terror of this moment since March, we will start with Captain Calypso. So, Henri has sent you a lot of tapes. Sir Henry, as he's leaving, kind of gives you a wink and a nod. Don't go through them all in one night. I did that once. I had nosebleeds for a week. It's a lot of data and images and...
Yeah, you know, I've lived a good life. Play.
All right, what are you looking for?
I don't remember.
All right, well, give...
I was looking for... I remember, because unfortunately I did not do homework like I should have. I was looking for... I think I was looking for when the other dude got on the tram. I know it's not a tram, but that's what I'm calling it for right now, because I don't want to call it a love boat or whatever.
It's more of a love limousine.
The love
And
ship.
the Think Machine told you that Marcon was one of the ones on there, so
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I remember because I was trying to review, and then also I remember I think I already either reviewed the incident or I wanted to also review the incident. I can't, but I remember I was definitely looking for. I know that Marcon was on the tram, and I wanted to see his face because I remember that none of us know what it looks like.
All right. So, you spend several days, or not, several hours kind of pouring through this. I assume you're going to try and do most of this reviewing kind of on your own.
All by my lonesome.
To say that Sir Henry has lived an adventurous life... decadent nobles that you have known would probably blush at what Sir Henry gets up to in his...
Oh.
No, go ahead.
I don't think Calypso would actually be phased.
I don't think she would either.
Yeah.
But as you go through, you can see that one person keeps coming up several times, and the name Marcon kind of scans through the data, and you're able to pull an image of Marcon. So Marcon is about in his mid-30s, dark, long, kind of well-kept, raven-like curls that kind of hang down past his shoulders. High cheekbones, like refined features. He looks as if he's from nobility.
So he's pretty.
He is a very pretty man. But he also doesn't wear any like even the most minor third cousin of the like House Hawkwood wears that as a badge of pride. While he is wearing very like bleeding edge of fashion clothing, he does not actually have any house affiliations.
Okay.
The other thing that sort of stands out is the man does have a red lacquered cane. Not so much like that he leans on it, but almost like the several times that he shows up for Henri's and Henry's kind of evenings out, he spends most of his time talking to the guests, not really getting involved in anything that's going on. He seems to be using it more as a networking thing. And then during the incident, you see that he touches the back of the tip of his cane to the back of Sir Henry's head, and Henry collapses like a puppet with his strings cut. He just collapses to the floor. Marcon's men get on, several of the ones that you met, including the one who has seen a light that G was able to sort of redeem, maybe put on a path towards not getting obliterated by...
I remember this.
Yeah, not getting obliterated by the Inquisitor. But they tie him up pretty badly to Sir Henry's exacting standards. And Marcon gets off at there's no stations, right? This is all sort of, literally below ground, underground sort of transportation. It's the old tubes that several of these nobles have kind of repurposed for their own entertainment and traveling. But you watch the video several times, and you can definitely hear the sounds of the cathedral bells ringing very loudly. Wherever Marcon keeps embarking and disembarking is near the cathedral, to the best of your guessing.
Okay.
We're going to roll G and Thessalia into one kind of encounter, because the two of you are definitely kind of moving down the same paths. So you're both heading to the Agora. You're trying to find out more information on Marcon. How are you sort of going about this?
I was planning on going kind of like a Punisher route and finding like some low-level thugs and beating them until they give me more information and then move up to the next level. I'm big and I hit things.
Okay. All right. And then, Thessalia, what are you sort of doing?
She's
I think she's kind of walking around, maybe using a little mind speech to, like, in strategic people's minds, say Marcon, and watch if they react at all.
So you're the equivalent of like telepathically yelling at somebody with a megaphone to see if they react.
Kind of like just like Marcon.
Okay. So G, I'm gonna want you to give me a presence plus impress roll.
Presence plus what?
Impress. And Thessalia, please give me a mind speech roll. Now, for those of you who may be new to Fading Suns, the way this works is everybody has skills and attributes, and I will call out a pairing of those, and you just take. So in this case, G is going to take whatever his presence is, add whatever points he has in impress to that, and that's the number he's trying to equal or roll below. If he rolls exactly what he needs, that is a critical success.
Oh, okay. I rolled. I failed.
Okay.
Now, don't forget you can spend from your vault to increase your goal if you want to increase it. You have to do it before you roll.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot to declare that before I rolled. So
In his defense, I don't think he remembered.
yeah.
That's
So then he was
totally.
like, but I have this. And I was like,
Don't worry. I got you covered, Marty. Hasalia, what did you get?
In a minute, and I was still learning this
15 out of
last time.
17.
All right. So as you kind of split up among the Agora, which is this large open air market, again, kind of on the cliff side of the Imperial City. Thessalia, you're shotgunning the name Marcon to several different people. Out of the corner of your eye, at the edge of your perception, you can see G. Now remember, the two of you are a team, right? You are part of this inquisitorial retinue. You have been a part of it for a while. You can see G is roughing up. I assume you said you were going Punisher style, so this is like
Yeah, like I'm just like grabbing the guy and just
swear
like
to me.
hit the wall.
Yeah. G is doing G's
Like
thing.
in like an alley or something. Like
Yeah,
like not in the middle of the Agora, just like over in the corner bashing some guys against the wall.
All right. So, you reach out and you say, Marcon, so G is getting nowhere. G, you are very successful at roughing people up, but you don't seem to be on the right path of roughing the right people up. You're like in the right vicinity, but you're just, it's like
Picking the
whack-a-mole.
wrong guy.
Right, yeah, exactly. However, now remember, the Inquisitorial retinue, you guys all have squawkers. You can talk to each other. Thessalia, you throw out Marcon, and you see somebody kind of stand up, look around. He's in minor noble's garb, so he's a member of some noble house, but he doesn't seem to be that high up. His clothing isn't even on the edge of fashion. He's several years back, and he quickly puts his head down and starts walking across the Agora.
I'll come G, like G, and then I'll describe him and try and get G to intercept him.
I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I'm gonna drop the guy,
He collapses into a
and
puddle
I'm just gonna
of...
walk.
Okay.
I'm just gonna walk away, and I'm gonna go after the guy she's pointing out to me.
All right.
I'm gonna kind of grab him by the shoulder and be like, "We need to talk." And
Unhand me, sir!
we need to talk, and I'm gonna steer him out of the public.
Thessalia, you can see that G has grabbed this guy. G, he puts his hand on a dueling blade. I said unhand me!
ha.
Do you know who I am? I am Quillen of Decados.
Right.
I do
Damn
not
it.
allow
And I
myself
am
to
a
be
member of
touched.
Inquisitor Flint's retinue, and we need to have a conversation.
All right, give me another presence plus impress roll. If you fail
I'm-
this, I will let you know he will not care, and you get the feeling that he's about to draw steel on you.
Okay.
Just slipped
While I
into
see this
Western
happening-
mode.
So I'm gonna spend 6 VP.
From your vault? Okay.
Bump it up to 15.
All right. While he's rolling, Thessalia, you said while you saw this.
Yeah, I was gonna try and emote and calm this man down
Okay.
to not make a scene.
All right. Give me your emote roll. Is it the smiley face with the tongue sticking out? Is it No? Okay.
Oh, is it the weird one like this?
Yeah, that's the emotional state I'm gonna put him in right now.
I like how the lighting changed when they did that. It just made it really kind of horrific looking. I'm watching the playback of it now. There's just like that one where it's just like,
So I rolled a 6.
All right. Again, the way this works is that you now have to spend VP. So you have successfully created the possibility that you can intimidate him. You now have to spend VP. You've earned 6 because that's what you rolled. You earn VP equal to whatever you roll, as long as it's a success. Now, how many VP do you want to spend to overcome this guy's mental resistance?
Well, I've got 8 total. If I just earned 6, so I'll burn all 8.
Okay, let me see what Thessalia rolled. You are very intimidating. There are people swooning around this
I
guy.
earned 6 on that roll, so I have 8.
Right.
Thessalia, what'd you get?
I'm remembering how to do math with VP. Hold, please.
But you 6, earn 6, so I have
I forgot what they're earning.
Do I hear them on the inquisitorial squawker go, "We have somebody"?
They didn't say they had somebody. Thessalia said that guy over there. Now you're on the oh boy at this point, doing your
Just making
Drinking that tea.
yes, some median D.
What'd you get, Maddie?
This is about to get real interesting because I rolled a natural 20.
Oh no.
All right, we're gonna come back to you two while I sort of process what happened there.
V, you're going to get stabbed.
Jexa.
Bye.
So
I'm
you
gonna
were going.
pull out. That's what's gonna happen.
Your hover bike with Lorenzo.
Vroom, vroom. I found it on a derelict ship, and we got it back over here. And this was on the roof. Well, where did I get this one from? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'm talking a lot. How are you?
I do need a just give me a dex plus drive roll. It's fine. I just need to
Dex. Okay. I did not succeed. Do not ruin my hover bike, please.
I'm but the GM. The dice tell the story. Or they tell a story.
Church
So
man.
as you look back, you can see Lorenzo is not used to riding through the streets of the city on a hover bike, and so you can see the whites of his eyes as you sort of take, as you're driving. There's a reason that you've been doing most of the talking. He is scared out of his mind. Maybe not Gregor threatened to blow me up scared out of his mind, but it's probably Gregor's threats, and Jexa's threats.
My threat?
You're driving. I'm not saying that your driving is threatening. It's just terrifying for him.
Oh. Okay. I'll slow down.
As you slow down, he's like, whew, sorry, I haven't gone through high-speed pursuit training yet, and this is... You're a good driver.
Puberty? We're not good.
Thank you.
So, how long have you been on that ship?
It feels longer, but I think it's only been a few months.
And you're sure that that bald guy isn't going to, attack me for riding around with you here?
Oh yeah, mainly because I'm not going to tell him.
Oh, excellent. Well, I mean, I think you've heard most of my story. I grew up here in Byzantium Secundus. My father's one of the bonded men of the Hawkwood Estates, and so he got me this posting in the Knights. 3 or 4 more years, and I'll make full knight, and I mean, after that, I don't know where. I hope to stay on Byzantium Secundus, but
You don't want to, travel? See things?
I mean, why? This is the heart of the Empire. Why travel when everything comes through here?
I mean, that's true. But, like, my traveling... I mean, so I mentioned that derelict ship, and that's where I found my waft gun. And so, like, you can find some really cool things if you leave.
Yeah, but... Or you could just go to the Agora and buy things.
Yeah, I don't have any money. Anything I get, I owe to Gregor because I borrowed money from him.
Wait,
Um,
so you borrowed money from him. He's not extorting money from you.
no. It's one of those where I was like, I really needed to buy a rug to put my bike on in the ship. Because I didn't want to put, get oil everywhere. And it was a really expensive rug.
You're the strangest girl I've ever met. I mean, please don't take that the wrong way. Like...
Thanks.
At this point, you hear, as you're driving, you're kind of talking back and forth. And you hear, "This one's not for you."
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that failed driving roll is going to come in, as you sort of swerve up onto the sidewalk, dodge several people, and come to an abrupt stop. And you can see, behind you, feathers falling to the ground.
Sorry about that.
What?
I almost hit a bird.
You hit a bird?
Almost. That was that move. Was avoiding the bird.
I didn't see any.
Oh, you didn't? I mean, okay. I mean, maybe I imagined it.
If you keep him near you, his blood will be on your hands too.
So, yeah. You gotta...
Are you okay? You've gone pale.
Yeah. I get overheated.
Should we go back? Should we go back to the ship? Do you need to eat something? There's a place that sells shaved ice that we could go to.
Yeah, maybe pick up some shaved ice and go back to the ship.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Becca, give me a perception plus observe roll as you pull away.
You just squashed a bird.
Did squash a bird. Alright, I was successful.
Alright, as you go driving off, you can see in the reflection, every reflection that you look in, there is someone standing there who is not on the street. As you turn the bike around, you can see this person is sort of watching you from the reflections in the windows. Every so often you catch a glimpse of her as if she is standing right next to you, even in your side mirrors, even though you are driving away from this place. Something is watching you.
I really need Gemma to come back so I can have another conversation about prayer.
Alestra,
Yes.
you want to go to the House Hazat Embassy on Byzantium Secundus?
Yeah. Want to isn't a great word. Need to, yeah.
It does not take very long for you to find yourself there. It is a rather imposing looking structure. House Hazat, right, there are two ways to sort of hide what you're doing. Either keep it hidden from everyone around you, or definitely give them something to stare at while other things are going on. And that is what the embassy is for. Imposing walls, guards on the gates, large steel bars on the gates that you know are reinforced and probably electrified. And you see two members of the Hazat Guard standing on either side of the gate. Move along, sister. There is no place for you here. We have our own healers.
I'm going to subtly show him my tattoo on my wrist. The House Hazat tattoo.
Do you
I have been called here. I have business. Let me through.
Who has called you here?
Can I give him my dad's name?
Sure. What's your dad's name? Let's
I'm
see.
looking it up because I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Dad.
Dad, come on.
Dad.
Dad
My dad has
Hazat?
called me. Dad.
Jabez. Jabez of House Hazat.
How do you know his name? I can't find it anywhere.
It's my business to know these things, darling.
That is very unnerving.
I will see if he is here. It's not usually on Byzantium Secundus. Wait here. And one of the guards goes in, and the other one definitely levels his rifle at you. People pass, several minutes pass, and finally a young woman in sort of scribal robes comes up. I apologize, but Jabez is not here, but I have been asked to be your liaison. Please come inside, Alestra.
Thank you.
What is it that House Hazat can do for one of her wayward children?
I need information on Marcon.
You need information. I would be glad to provide that for you, Alestra. Obviously, as a member of House Hazat and as Jabez's daughter. But you understand the situation that you are in. Not quite blacklisted, not quite... You have one in the house grounds, 1 foot out in the world. I would be glad to give you this information, but you know it will come as a cost.
Okay.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, come, I will tell you what we know. So you're looking for someone named Marcon. Do you have any additional information for us?
Would Calypso have given us the description of Marcon that she saw from the videos?
That's going on right now.
Yeah,
So-
I haven't. Yeah.
Age, house affiliation, any enterprises that he's engaged with, really anything you can give us.
I know he's of House Al-Malik and throws great parties.
Ah, interesting. I will see what we have. Would you care for some refreshment while you wait?
No, thank you.
Very well. And she brings you into a large, open air courtyard. Several reclining couches, like the fountains in the gardens set up in the style of your home world. It is perhaps the first time in a while that you have seen the traditional gardens laid out in Hazat fashion, but she leaves you here for a while. Every so often, a servant comes by with a tray of wine and dates and figs. If you refuse them, they just come back in about an hour. But they constantly try to see if you need anything.
Right.
Eventually, the woman comes back, and she has she's being followed by a servant who has another tray, and there are two things on there. There is a small vial about the length of 2 digits of your finger, and there is a data disk. This is everything that we've been able to find on Marcon al-Malik. He is a reclusive character.
I expected as much since it's been difficult to find information on him.
This is what we have. Again, it is not much. We know where he spends his nights and where he hosts his parties, and we've been able to get you a rough blueprint of his facilities.
Thank you.
You are most welcome. In order, again, you know how this works. There is someone here on Byzantium Secundus, and we would very much like you to introduce the contents of this vial into their system.
Who is it?
In time. There's a name on the data disk.
What does the vial do to them?
Since that is neither my information to give nor yours to need to know.
Real question: is a person gonna pop out of it, messing stuff up, and then disappear?
All I have to tell you is that it is in service of House Hazat.
When is my father next scheduled to come here?
Jabez keeps his own schedule. I can do some polite inquiries. I can't guarantee it. He usually comes through here about once a quarter. He spends most of his time on the homeworld or on various things for the house.
Understood. Have you heard any news of my brother?
Is there anything I should be looking for?
I'm simply curious how my family's doing. I have not heard from them in months. I've been in deep space.
I apologize, Alestra. I know nothing, but if I know your family, your father is the spy master of House Hazat, so there is much about your family that I do not know, and I would prefer to keep it that way.
I do not blame you. Thank you, and good day.
She bows deeply, and they leave. All right, Flint, you are reaching out to people. You're muted, Mark.
Reach out to G, who has a lot of information. Francesco?
So you're going to reach out to Francesco?
Yeah, he has a lot of good info. I regularly get updates from him.
I mean,
see what he knows about this Marcon of Al-Malik. Maybe he has a picture for me.
He's the spy master of House Hawkwood, so it's not so much updates as you trade information. But you can you have a secure comm to his sort of drop location. What are you asking of him?
If he has anything on this Marcon of Al-Malik, maybe a data pic, so I know what he looks like.
Okay. Give me a presence plus charm or impress roll.
Oh, we'll go with him. Now, can I consider Francesco a sinful person? Because I get a bonus against them. Or is he a true believer in the Pan Creator?
You don't really know. He keeps his cards very close to his chest.
Did you say? Oh yeah, presence. Okay.
Yeah.
He hides his secrets in his mustache.
In his mustache, I keep mine inside my hat. That's why it's such a large hat.
That like reminds me of Mean Girls. Want to know why her hair's so big? It's full of secrets.
Does that mean I have none?
It's all in your hat. It's all in the hat.
Yes. I succeed with a 10 out of 15. So is this a blind bid?
This is a blind bid.
I'll give you all 10.
All right, and that was on an impress.
Yes, impress plus presence.
All right.
He knows how it works. We trade info. I
Yeah.
might give him something on House Malik that he could use later.
Well, my friend, I
Oh.
do not want your information on Malik. What I do want to know about is, Alestra. You have there's someone on the oh boy that I need information on.
Yes, I haven't had a chance to talk with her. She's very busy doing stuff. It's almost like she's trying to avoid me.
Well, Flint,
okay.
let's be
It's a
honest.
small ship.
Doing stuff makes me a little concerned that you're losing your edge. Do you not have any more information than just stuff?
Well, you know how it is. There's something a little more pressing dealing with body modification and heresy.
It's always heresy with you.
Oh, but you know me. It's true heresy. I don't go over the small things.
So you say. All right, I will give
So
you.
what do you want to know of this Alestra? Why is she important to you? Would it have something to do with Yabez?
It has nothing to concern you. It has only the information that I need, my friend. I have heard this name Marcon. He has not come up in House Hawkwood's radar yet. Much more a local problem, as far as I can tell. He has several business fronts that he operates. I can send you the 3 that we know of. But you know how these things are. The 3 that we know of are 6 or 8 more that we do not.
Yes, yes.
But I do want to know whatever you can get me on Alestra and what she is doing on Byzantium Secundus. I cannot be being too interested. You know how it is. Yes?
Why, of course, information must be traded. I will throw this in as a freebie. It seems that your Marcon was involved with Sir Henry Ashton of Hawkwood. I don't know how deeply or if he was just duped into something.
Ashton. I will go search that name. Marcon
It would be a
is-
shame if the Hawkwoods were associated with any kind of heresy, of course. I'd be the first to let you know if I discover something.
I appreciate that, as always, Flint. And I would also, again, remind you that sniffing around for heresy in Hawkwood would force me to look into all of the activities that you are in, and you'll know we are at a stalemate at that point.
Yes, yes.
So he sends you 3 businesses. There is a purveyor of rare books.
Heresy.
He also owns a small, is the patron for an art studio, like an artist gallery, in the upper end of Byzantium Secundus.
Possible heresy.
And then the last one just seems to be essentially he is a silent partner in a import and export business that runs in the Agora.
Is there a name?
Yes, it is known. Hold on, let me flip through my notes.
Do they sell rugs and spices?
No. It is just known as Galactic ICE. You don't know what the ICE stands for, but they're definitely dashes between the letters.
True heresy. There we will go.
All right, so back to the Agora. All right, G, you grab this guy, and for a brief moment, he looks scared of you. And then you get that sensation whenever Thessalia is using her powers, and the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and you see this guy's face just kind of boil with rage. I told you to unhand me! And he draws his blade.
I'm gonna headbutt him. Just
sure.
immediately. Just whap!
Give me a strength plus headbutt roll. A strength plus fight roll.
A strength plus what?
Fight. By the way, can I just tell you guys how excited I am to be back playing with the crew of the Ahoy?
No.
Yay!
So excited. One low.
They're the best.
That is a 5 for
All
a
right.
success.
He does not seem to be wearing armor, but you have to spend some to overcome his body resistance.
You have 5.
Screw it, I'm gonna spend 5.
Oh, you definitely overcome his body resistance.
I want to knock him out. Just whap!
You feel like cartilage just pulp under your forehead, and he goes stepping back, blood pouring out of his nose, staining his face, staining his clothes, and he drops his blade.
I am then going to grab him and drag him out of the Agora.
He's from Decados, right?
He is from Decados.
Okay.
Thessalia, are you following?
But of course.
Nice. Way to play up the creepy. So you get him out of the Agora into an alley. You don't buy those!
And I told you I needed to talk to you.
That's not the way civilized people behave.
Pulled a knife on him.
I mean, you pulled a blade.
He is basically trying to do what he can to fix his nose, which is not much, and just kind of babbling incoherently at you.
Okay. I have questions for you, and you're going to answer them.
He gives you a very scared look. Thessalia, you can feel the fear and the anger kind of roiling off of him.
Now, who's Marcon?
And he goes really still. Why do you want to know about Marcon?
I'm gonna flick his nose.
Ah! He drops to the ground in pain. Listen, you just broke my nose. He will kill me.
Who's Marcon?
Mark. Thessalia, do you want to try and rip this out of his head?
Oh boy.
I mean, I can. I was also going to offer to him. We can make sure you remember this never happened.
You can wipe. Listen, Marcon's an investor. He's the one who funds. He funds my business. How do you know about him? He was supposed to be a silent partner.
And what is your business?
I bring in old manuscripts and texts from around the Imperium and sell them to the nobles. He occasionally has first right of refusal on them. Oh, my nose. He looks up at you, Thessalia, like blood, flat nose, eyes are like the blood is starting to like pour into his into his eyes. He's getting the black eyes.
Jack the dude.
Finest ducks.
Well, does it look bad?
No, you'll be okay.
Do I get the sense that he is lying or he's holding anything back?
Give me a perception plus or an intuition plus empathy roll.
Intuition plus empathy.
Yes. Intuition.
I have a feeling I'm going to have some more lessons with G on torture lore and how it to go about it a little more subtly.
He pulled a knife on me.
He pulled a dueling blade, so I mean we're talking like a rapier.
Oh, he pulled a sword on
He
me.
pulled his sword at you. What'd you get, Thessalia?
This with a 2.
All right, so based off G's roll, you know that he's got
He's not my strong suit.
he's got a 3 mental resistance or 3 mind resistance. So you'd have to spend at least 3 points to kind of get a read on him. You have points in your vault that you can draw on. Everybody's got their vault.
Yeah, I've already been drawn on those, so I will surge.
So Surge is a mechanic where if you are out of VP so many times per rest, you can flood your coffer with VP.
So that'll get me to 10 with the 2 I just rolled. So I will spend the 3 to overcome.
You can only do it once.
All right. He is definitely not lying. He is too stunned and in too much pain to form any thought but basically the truth.
Okay.
Now where can we find Marcon?
He comes around the shop once a month when I get new shipments. He's
And when do you
throwing
get your next?
a party at the end of the week.
Do you have an invitation to this party?
I do, and a +1, and she is lovely. I hope that...
I'm lovely.
Yup. I'm gonna hold out my hand.
I just registered. I'm lovely.
He hands you his invitation. It is a... it reminds you a lot of Sir Ashton's coach. It is a small black card embossed with red lettering, and it just gives an address in. And you're familiar enough with Byzantium Secundus. This is the upper crust. It is at one of the small Al Malik mansions that kind of dot the northern end of the island. It is for basically the bearer of this card +1.
I have a real quick question about Amalik.
Sure.
Was that the family that Calypso? Okay, I was just making sure. I was like, I feel terrified. Never carry on.
I'm going to take the card from him and just hand it to Thessalia.
All right. So, Calypso... Oh, no. That doesn't look normal. Is that...
What?
Is that 2 Henrys? No,
3.
Captain,
What?
Did you find what you needed from that?
Yes, I think I did.
Are we sure that Jexa should be going around with that knight? He's the law, and you know how we feel about the law.
So I agree about the law,
Right?
but we
Chaperoning.
we can send a chaperone in next time. This time I owe her.
No, it's okay. She owes me.
Okay, well, new plan. Since she owes you, instead of her paying you money back, chaperone for the cost of that what she owes you. For every $1, that's 1 hour of chaperoning.
So much chaperoning.
Right, she owes me a lot of chaperoning. Right. No, got it. Now, and then he holds up what looks to be 2 nooses. I've been practicing my knots.
They're wonderful.
Thank you. All right, at
Oh.
this point, Alestra, Alestra, like, you were heading back to the ship. Jexa, you were heading back to the ship. What about G and Thessalia and Flint? What are you guys doing?
I will. I mean, we knew what people were doing, so once I've made my contact with Francesco, I will go inquire if Captain Calypso has found anything on the tapes that she was going through.
Oh, she's found a lot of things on the tapes. You probably do not want to go in there.
Oh, yes. I think you dropped this, Gregor. Here you go.
That was one of my bouquet of knives.
The bouquet of
The
knives.
bouquet of knives. All right, so over the next several hours, yes, go ahead, Thessalia.
I was just going to try and plant a very nice memory in this gentleman's mind.
All right. And what is that memory going to be, and how is it going to include how badly his nose has been broken?
I'm gonna.
Ooh.
You picked
Before
up
I
that
walk away,
puppy and
I'm
jammed
gonna
it
try and
repeatedly
like.
into your nose.
I'm gonna try and like set his nose before I walk away. Just-
Give me a wits plus remedy.
Oh no. The memory I'm going to try and plant is that he was
So if I don't have anything, it's just
standing up from his table. Oh,
Yeah.
do I notice? Is he married? Does he have a wedding band?
He does not have a band.
Remember, he had a date.
He was standing up a little too abruptly, tripped, fell, ate it,
Yeah, he
and a
did.
beautiful young woman helped him up,
Okay.
dusted him off, and sent him on his way.
All right.
I failed by one.
All right. You grab it, and you kind of
Ugh.
something pops. You think it's in place.
Oh.
He passes out.
Aw.
Even better to plant the memory.
Yeah, he's
Now he
unconscious.
looks like
You
a big
definitely
guy.
like plant that memory. It's
Gee, you're supposed to help them, not make it worse.
Says who?
Me, the healer.
Healer.
I break people. I don't fix.
Come on, guys, be supportive here.
Air. I liked how it just the air quotes that just flung up.
all right. So Jexa, you arrive back with after a fairly enjoyable time with Lorenzo, even though you keep looking over your shoulder and at every reflection they start to slow down, but you definitely see that woman with the long cloak and the hood pulled up that you have seen off and on for a very, very long time. All right, but back on the Oh Boy, what do you guys do? Information has been gathered. Gregor has prepared a meal. He's getting better at reconstituting, dried powders.
Question.
I'm gonna be sitting in the mess hall eating said meal, waiting for people to assemble so we can communicate.
Oh boy, assemble! You had a question, Flint.
I was to say, when we share the information, I was going to try to use one of my calling abilities
Okay.
called Bloodhound.
Go for it.
I also need to look at what's on my little USB drive.
You should probably also figure out what's in that vial, because we know what happened the last time you were handed something.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it didn't turn out too well. I turned green.
And not the good green.
No. Is there even a good green?
All right. So what does the Bloodhound calling ability do for you, Flint?
Whenever you find a location your bounty hunter has frequented, such as a safe house, their cruiser, or favorite bar, you can spend time searching for traces they left behind. This takes between 10 minutes and an hour, depending on the size of the location, and yields clues about the quarry's whereabouts. So once we found out about the business,
Okay.
that would be my suggestion. Go there. And then I know where he's at. And even if he leaves planet, it's kind of a thing. You start tracking him.
Okay.
But we'll have to get there. But that's what I'm going to try to do once we get there.
All right. So Lester, you've gone to your room and you are looking at the disc. All right. What they know about Marcon is that about 2 years ago, Marcon was actually involved in a a raid by House Hazat of suspected antinomists. He was put in prison. You know, the pit. And yet, in transit, was all of the other prisoners arrived to be questioned by House Hazat. Yet, somehow, in transit, Marcon disappeared, not just out of his cell, but off of the ship. He is most likely found at the Al Malik mansions on the north side. That's where they have seen him most often. They don't have someone trailing him, but they have several members of the spy corps, if you will, who every so often make sure nothing untoward is going on.
Do we know? Oh, I'm sorry.
And also on your data disk, they have procured one invitation with a +1 for you to Marcon's next gala, which is at the end of the week.
Do we know Marcon's last name actually? And I don't think so.
No.
This is a very important question for Calypso.
You know that Marcon goes by Marcon, or everything that you have seen, he goes by Marcon al-Malik. Like, he is high enough up in the house that he can claim their name as his own.
Okay, so she does know. Okay. Go.
So
Cool.
it looks like your crew's preparing dinner. I don't know, do you want to meet up later?
Yeah.
The night sky over the Agora is pretty. I mean, if you haven't seen it, there's places where there's no like the light pollution's not too bad. It's down by the sea. I mean, do you like beaches?
I haven't been to one.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. When you're done.
Yeah, at the station?
Yeah, and you can just hear like a thud behind you, and Gregor's stirring something in a bowl, chaperoning.
Yes!
You don't need a chaperone, Gregor.
You can see Lorenzo flushes and then pales, and then I will see you later. Good to see you again, Mr. Gregor. And Lorenzo goes scuttling off.
Here's the thing, Becca, you can't take him to the beach. Our track record with trying to go to the beach is going to result in you straight up murdering him on the same. Yep. You cannot go to the beach.
The whole side plot of Fading Suns and the Oh Boy is to actually have and get to a normal day at the beach.
Any beach.
I offered it to
It
you.
still hasn't happened.
It could have three-eyed freaking slug banshees for all I care.
Maybe some Grendel cats?
Oh boy.
No? Okay. All right, so you guys are all back on the ship. I'm going to just... Gregor is stirring something in a pot we've established. Alestra is in her room. The rest of you are in the mess hall is what it sounded like. Go for it.
Come up here.
I'll walk up to Jexa.
Come on, puppy.
Be like, everyone is very interested in you. There's something going on there. You seem very conflicted.
That's because you're asking me
Yeah.
this, and I don't know you very well. And Gregor's standing right behind me, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh no, you can hear the spoon on the inside of the bowl behind you.
Wait, are we if you were in the mess hall, then Calypso's in there too.
Yeah. Basically everyone but Alestra is in there right now.
Oh, so Calypso's just sitting there like,
Yeah.
I'm going to walk up and hand her an empty cup for all the tea.
Are you going through the tea ceremony? Z? Getting
No,
it
that
all
was a
ready?
joke. I'll make some tea.
Oh, okay. All right. So, aside from the fact that this boy is sweet on Jexa, what else did we find?
Oh, I have this.
Oh, that is not what I thought was going to happen.
I found some new positions.
Of
Oh.
what?
I'm
And what Marcon looks like.
Positions of what?
Oh, very good.
on the
I found
ship,
he's involved in
like
several businesses here on
the janitor
Segundus.
and cook and
I met one of the proprietors of one of those businesses.
Really, which one? Would it be the rare bookseller? Heresy's written all over that.
That was it. He sold rare books, manuscripts, and such.
See?
May have broken his nose.
Did he deserve it?
I like
He
this
put
guy.
a sword on me.
Didn't.
He pulled a sword on me.
Oh, yeah, well, he deserved it then.
Yeah.
He knew you from the Inquisition.
Yes.
Oh. What was his name?
Did I get his
You
name?
did not get his name. I mean, you do have his
Quinlan of
blood.
Decados.
I mean,
No, it's not.
like,
Quinlan of Decados.
He owned a rare manuscript business.
You can, what, do they have a Secretary of State's office? We can find out.
He imports and exports.
no, Mark is right. You did get it's Quillen of Decados.
Oh, well, the name being the invitation. Yeah. But yes, he is apparently Marcon is a silent investor in his business.
That is what I heard.
Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. How did you hear it if he's a silent investor?
From my contacts,
No.
good Gregor. Please,
No,
please. Fold it. Don't beat it to death. Fold it into, mix it.
Yeah, do I look like someone who doesn't beat things to death?
You do, but you're cooking, not killing something.
I feel like under different circumstances, me and Gregor could be great friends.
Yeah, I like this guy. You're not bad for a member of the Inquisition.
There's still
That's
the law.
true.
Honey. There's still the law.
He looks at you and he's like, right. All right, so we've got names, we've got places. Olestra, chow time.
Coming.
What's the plan?
Finally, I get to meet.
So if we have invitations and we know when this gala is going to be, and now that we know what he looks like, shouldn't we maybe figure out who is going to be attending and who is going to be sneaking others in so that they can start to pretend to
Don't-
be attending?
Don't we have another invitation coming, like, tomorrow?
You're hoping that Ashton can get you some invitations. He was.
I mean, I was totally down for like some of the people get to go in and pretend to be nobility, and the others have to sneak in the back under the the tray cart, and then suddenly pop out like a service member. I was totally down.
I mean, that is a
We'll call
solid.
that Plan B.
Fine.
What were you saying?
My plans are amazing.
I want to be nobility.
But the
I want
last
to
time
be
I
party.
made a plan for Al Malik, I
You
ended
do
up.
have big bones.
Oof.
Ended up what? What happened?
Nothing.
Well, I'll come into the mess hall and be like, well, hey guys, I have an invitation and I can take one person with me.
So that's 4. So, Jexa, you're really small. You would be very good under the
Being
cart.
noble. Yes, I can do this. I know I can.
The
You-
cart
you
is so
just-
small that your body can fit.
think it might be really fun to take Jexa with me. Just saying.
What?
Is that Lorenzo boy going to be there?
How would I know? I'm new here.
We all know you're a spy. Yeah, we all know that you're a spy. So then
Yeah.
like, use your knowing talenty thingies. Figure it out.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mama Bear, that I don't have all the answers for you.
Oh, Mama Bear. Okay, well, Mama Bear, since Mama Bear buys all the food and Papa Bear cooks all the food, how about Mama Bear start paying me some rent?
Flint is just sipping his tea, taking all of this in.
Don't worry. Gemma's buns are like, fight.
The tea is hot today.
It's code. I will say that someone in the chat, I am an Osgoul, said, "Oh no, nothing good ever happens when Calypso and the gang sneak into parties."
That's true.
No, Calypso's already been over here grumbling. Going,
Remember that time you got high?
Almalek party. It went totally fine.
Almalek, Milan
Left
Station.
my character for dead.
He is dead. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, so you've got
I
4
figured.
invitations for the 6 of you. You have a plan to sneak some people in through the serving entrance. You've got about a day before the party is going on. What do you guys want to do?
We can check out the bookstore to see what's there. If you guys can get in, maybe identify them. I have my own pass to get in the front door. But that will set off alarms when I get there.
You mean into the gala or you mean into the bookstore?
Yes. No, to the gala.
Yes.
Okay.
Anywhere he wants.
No. He's saying it would set off alarm, like they'll be on high alert when they know that he's there.
Well, if he can get in, would he be able to bring either G or I in with him as part of his retinue, and then we don't have to worry about the other invitations?
Probably. It might help if you could go in as Quinlan of Decados and date to do your thing without them being on edge because an Inquisitor forced his way in. I can do it, but it's not polite to do.
So we're still.
One, we have to make sure he's there.
Right.
So
No
he-
sense
And don't forget, the Inquisitorial Seal does mean that, like, when you use it, the church will judge your actions. It's not like a free pass. It's a.
And we want to make sure he's there because if I bust in and cause a row, then Al Malik is like, "Why are you doing this to us? There's nothing wrong." And it's not good. It's not good on my evaluation report come end of year.
Half of us are nobles. Those half will go find a side entrance. The rest of us will be dressed as fancy party servers. I'm really good at balancing stuff. We got this.
Well, this is Maddie. Sounds like you need to go shopping if we're gonna blend in.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, but I was waiting for people to actually agree with my ideas.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, no, I agree with the captain.
Well, of course you do, Gregor. I mean,
Agree with her.
that was nice.
He knows what's good for him. The bouquet of knives doesn't just have one job. Okay, so
Maybe
we're
you
gonna
can buy him a new ruffled shirt.
Do I get a ruffled shirt?
No, you may not. Okay, so we will get you a nice, wonderful, incredibly mega knotted up shirt. Those are all the style now. They're impossible to take off. It's wonderful.
Button up turtleneck, straight.
You know what I hear is in fashion? Puritan dresses.
Chastity belts are making a comeback.
Wow.
I want to.
All right, so is that the plan? It sounds like some of you are talking about going to investigate the businesses. Some of you are talking about shopping. Others are saying just wait till the party. How is the team splitting up?
Well, I'm going shopping.
I mean, that's a given.
I want to go with Calypso.
Okay.
I'm going to assume that I probably already have a nice set of clothing that I could wear to this party.
Well, but are you going to be a nice clothing person or are you going to be a servant? We still have to figure out that part
I
of the
have an
plan.
invitation
Okay, so you're going to be a nice clothed person. So
with Thessalia.
Thessalia is
We
going to
have
be a
an
nice
invitation.
clothed. Okay, Inquisitor Flint, are you going to be a servant with me?
He's going to be an inquisitor.
Or you're
after
going
we
to
make
be an
sure
inquisitor.
Marcon's there.
After we make sure Marcon's there. But I thought if you use your badge, then, HR is going to come down at you.
Yes, which is why we make sure our Marcon's there.
You're so devious, Captain. You sure you weren't an Inquisitor in a previous life?
I'm going to go try on some new shoes.
So, Calypso, it sounds like you're the only one sneaking in.
That's
No,
not-
that's not a bad idea to go in as a servant.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, you can come in as the person who just stays on the tray.
I can just tuck this away. Yeah, all normal.
It's as if you've never tortured anybody until, they were about an inch from death.
They never prove that.
Yeah, I don't like this guy.
So I'm going to, because I'm fascinated, go shopping with the ladies.
Okay, so here's the thing. If we have, Alestra has a ticket. She's going to take Jexa. And then Thessala and what's his bucket? G. They have tickets. That leaves Gregor, Calypso, Flint, and Gemma's not here. And so that leaves 3 out. So 3 people would have to be snuck in, and Calypso is just being dramatic and is using it as the servant ruse. But
Unless
can
Sir
maybe-
Henry brings an invitation for you.
I do have a lot of fancy party dresses and large hats.
It's true.
Do you have any in my size?
Oh, I'm sure I can find something. Honestly, corsets just do wonders.
Can't figure out where to point.
Right? So, all right. So we have a plan. It seems at least the start of a plan.
So we need to find out who's doing the serving, like if somebody's catering it, and we can replace certain workers.
All right. So who's going in as nobles and who's going in as servants?
I believe me and Thessalia is nobles.
Correct.
Yeah, apparently Alestra decided that Jexa is going to be a noble. However, Mama Bear is really disappointed in her, and since she hasn't responded about that rent thing, Calypso's definitely going to follow up.
All right. So Calypso, you're going to be a
There
noble
she
as
is.
well.
Where's that rent?
All right, but Alestra's the one with the invitation. So Alestra has to be one of the people who is a noble.
I think, I don't know if we can hear Abby, I think is the problem. She's...
No, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just saying that Alestra, she has to be one of the people who can jump in.
Mhm.
Correct.
All right, so that leaves Flint as an inquisitor or possibly a servant.
I mean, he can
Calypso,
become an inquisitor
I can
once
be
he...
a servant and then pull us out when I need to, but
Yeah,
Are you taking Gregor into the party with you, Calypso, as a servant?
yes.
All right.
And you can also do the come in as a servant and then change into nobles real quick too.
That's actually honestly what I was considering doing. That was probably just going to be... It's just probably best if we don't just flash the inquisitorial badge immediately. Like, he can wear a fancy party... I have plenty of hats that he might enjoy. He can wear a fancy party hat once we get inside.
Yeah, do we want
Party
people
hat.
knowing that we're with the Inquisition if he flashes the badge like that?
I've never known him. What are you talking about?
No, he's standing like right there, Captain. He's been on the ship.
I'm gonna teach you plausible deniability one day. If it kills
Is that one of those new positions you were talking about?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So,
I don't know what that position would look like.
you guys, I love Gregor. He's such an innocent soul for a thug and a killer and a engineer.
Yep. He's complicated.
He's complicated.
But simple.
Which is it's funny because he's not. That's what makes him complicated.
All right, so you guys get your outfits put together. You've got the noble's clothing for Jexa. You guys go out and do some shopping. Are you waiting at that point then for the party? It'll take you about a day to kind of get all of your stuff together. Flint is able to figure out one of the caterers, and you're trying to get on staff. You and Gregor and Calypso on staff. Is that what's going on, Flint?
I
What do you got, Calypso?
I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just gonna say I think that his intention was when we get there we were gonna do the 1-2 knockout and just replace somebody there. I don't know. I might have also been just over dramatically.
Dramatically?
Dramatizing. Yep.
Dramatizing?
Yeah. Whatever.
You know it is. Oh, John couldn't make it. I'm here to replace him.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I think Jexa has a question.
Yes, Jexa.
At some point, I need to have a conversation with Calypso about the voices I'm hearing.
Oh, right. Is
seems to be a
Calypso
good
hearing her
time.
own voices?
Not for a while.
But she's heard them because I remember there was.
Oh yeah, you've made that. That guy on the station.
You gonna discuss this in the mess hall with everyone?
No, not at all. We're gonna
like how both of them are like, no.
No.
we're gonna go into the captain's quarters.
So we're gonna do this really fast. Okay.
Yeah.
So Calypso, you know how I told you about that thing in my brain?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's my think machine, and there's also that other thing.
Mm-hmm. She knows it's named Josh Kagael, right? I think.
Yeah, because we talked about Ashkagael and what Ashkagael thinks about the thing in your brain, and how, yours is a lesser demon, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, in reflections. Gemma's not here, and I've been doing the praying to the Pancreator and Saint Beatrice. Do you have any other advice?
The Lady of the Lake. It's actually this, but because Calypso's a heretic, she goes like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, I didn't hear the last part. I apologize.
No, you're fine. Do you have any advice for keeping the demons that you don't see them on the streets?
You see your demons on the streets?
She's following me.
Yours is a she.
Yeah, I think yours is a she too. If I remember correctly, which was only like, 3 weeks ago.
It just feels so long.
Azazel is yours.
Azazel.
Azazel.
Oh, yours is a he. Sorry, it's a him. But yeah, and she's telling me that if I hang out with Sir Lorenzo, he's going to die? Got any, like, advice?
Well, honey, with great voices in your head comes great responsibility. And frankly,
Hey, Frank.
there's Frank in the background with the cigar.
The butter knife.
If your voice is telling you he's going to die, it might be better to let him go.
So how do I say that to him? Because he kind of invited me to go star watching tonight.
Oh, actually, I could probably fix that in 2 seconds.
Don't send Gregor.
Oh, I was absolutely going to send Gregor.
Don't send Gregor. Don't do that.
I can end this relationship in 2 sentences.
Gregor's really good at ending relationships, except his own.
Don't send Gregor. Like, I want to tell him that I like him.
Okay. We don't know enough about the voices in our mutual heads to risk any kind of romantic relationships when literally those voices are threatening that person's life. As much as I enjoy the occasional maiming, murdering, and murder, I don't think that an innocent person needs to die simply because you like him. It's not worth it for you.
What do I say to him?
You say, I'm just going through a lot of stuff right now, and I need to focus on me.
You can have a weird point, Calypso.
Thanks.
Okay.
I'm just loving the mothers. It's the first time you have to explain it's not you, it's me. Cool.
Got a lot going on in my head.
It's
like
demon
me,
in my brain.
a think machine, a demon. It's really crowded up there.
Just don't have room for anything
Can I
else.
go to the beach and tell him tonight?
You can't. Oh, I thought that was for me. That was for Calypso. Go ahead.
It was for Calypso.
You know what?
I mean, you can come with if you'd like.
How about this? How about Gregor and I keep our respectful distance and pretend we don't know you just to make sure that nothing goes wrong?
Okay. Thank you. And I give Calypso a big hug.
Because Calypso and Gregor are not going to get distracted.
Not at all.
Ooh, something shiny.
Yeah.
All right. So,
No, Calypso's going to a beach, guys. She's like, where are the three-eyed slug demons?
all right. So, as the rest of you get ready for this gala in not the next day, but the day after, Jexa, and then at a respectful distance, G and Mars, or sorry, not G and Mars. Mars and Gregor head down to the beach with you.
I mean, I can ask Z to go fix it too. I mean, 6 Gregor, half dozen G, it doesn't matter.
6 of Gregor, half a dozen G. I feel like that could be a hashtag.
I'll have to just put a new memory in. That girl was never Jexa.
Jexa, you get down there, and you wait until almost midnight, and Lorenzo never shows up.
Can we go by the police station? I'm really worried now.
Calypso will give Gregor a rather forlorn look that she's pretty sure he doesn't really understand. Do you have to poop?
Now?
And she'll say, all right, let's go to the police station.
All right.
One way or another, he's ended up dead because if he stood her up, it's done. Calypso.
I'm sticking Gregor on him so fast. It's like he won't even be able to say.
All right. As you get to the night station in the Agora where you first met Lorenzo, the smell of smoke is what you detect first. And as you come across the Agora, you can see that the night station of House Hawkwood here is on fire.
Oh, good.
Flames rage out, but Lorenzo is standing out front, helping them put fires out. I swear that wasn't me.
I know you're not good at starting fires.
Yes.
That's what he's not good at. Okay, this is a terrible time.
What do you do?
Is he super busy?
I mean, he's putting fires out.
Okay. Do I
Are there
have...
at least some flowers laying on the street that he dropped?
I don't want to do it in a text message. I was about to say, I'll call him and leave a message. And then I was like, no, that's awful. In a moment that he takes like a break,
Okay.
I'm gonna run up to him.
Get back!
I know.
No! She's here, the one who set the fires!
Me?
And that's where we'll pause for tonight.
What?
We will pick up in a week again with Captain Calypso Mars, the crew of the Oh Boy, and the inquisitorial retinue of Inquisitor Flint. It was so good again just to be back in Fading Suns with the original crew. I'm so excited. Thank you all for tuning in, chat. I appreciate you all the time. And we will be back next Thursday with more Fading Suns Comes the Inquisitor Part 4. And check out all the other great shows, as we always say, on the Ulysses International channel. You've got Torg Tuesdays with Maddie and Mark are in that game. Things continue to grow more and more interesting in that. Heretical Musings, if you like what you saw about the Fading Suns universe or the system and want to know more, Bill Bridges, one of the designers, does Heretical Musings on the Ulysses International channel. You can follow them here on Twitch to get the notes live. You can check them out on YouTube, where all of the back episodes of the Oh Boy reside. As always, thank you to all of my players. Again, it's so good to be back on the Oh Boy with you. Thank you to our producer, JD, who keeps all of the plates spinning. Thank you to Ulysses for hosting the show. I am JM the GM. This is the crew of the Oh Boy plus 3. And we will be back next week with more Fading Suns on Thursdays. Until then, stay safe, get some good gaming in, and I will see you all on Tuesday.